ओम श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः। हरि ओम। सदाशिवसमारम्भां शंकराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं। शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः। ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। कुकारस्वन्धकारो वैरुकारस्तन्निवर्तकः अन्धकारनिरोधित्वात् गुरुरित्यभिधीयते। ॐ सहनाववतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः। ॐ भद्रं कर्णेभिः शृणुयामदेवाः भद्रं पश्येमाक्षभिर्यजत्राः स्थिरैरङ्गैः स्तुष्टुवागुंसस्तनूभिः विषेम देवहितं यदायुः। स्वस्ति न इन्द्रो वृद्धश्रवाः स्वस्ति नः पूषा विश्ववेदाः स्वस्ति नस्तार्क्ष्यो अरिष्टनेमिः स्वस्ति नो बृहस्पतिर्दधातु। ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः। ॐ नमो ब्रह्म विद्या संप्रदायकर्तृभ्यः नमः। नमः श्री गौडपाद श्री शंकर भगवत्पाद सुरेश्वराचार्येभ्यः नमो गुरुभ्यः। प्रज्ञानांशुः प्रधानैः स्थिरचरनिकरव्यापिभिर्व्याप्य लोकान् भुक्त्वा भोगान् स्तविष्टान् पुनरपि दिशनोद्भासितान् कामजन्यान् पीत्वा सर्वान् विशेषान् स्वपिति मधुरभुङ्मायया भोजयन्नः मायासङ्ख्यातुरीयं परम् अमृतमजं ब्रह्म यत्तन्नतोऽस्मि। आश्रमास्त्रिविधा हीनमध्यमोत्कृष्टदृष्टयः उपासनोपदिष्टेयं तदर्थमनुकम्पया। मृल्लोहविस्फुलिङ्गाद्यैः सृष्टिः या चोदिता अन्यथा उपायः सः अवताराय नास्ति भेदः कथञ्चन। The clarity in terms of what is being revealed by the Upanishads and Veda as a total pramana, the knowledge source. This clarity is important because Veda is a pramana in its entirety. It is not a pramana only for the ending portion, which is Vedanta, but the entire Veda is a pramana. Therefore, it is important to recognize the statements which are there in Purva Bhaga of Veda and reconcile that to the overall import of Veda as a pramana. Hence, the portions in Karma Kanda which spoke about Ishvara and all the karmas, how do they relate to the Srishti which has been spoken about? Because the Srishti was interpreted as giving the vision of Ekatvam. The Ekatva Buddhi is the import of the Shruti Vakyas, especially the Upanishad. Now, how do they reconcile with the Vakyas which were there in the Purva Bhaga? That discussion got completed. Mriloha Vispulingadyaihi Srishtihi Ya Chodita Anyata Upayaha Saha Avataraya. The whole Srishti Prakriya is to create the Ekatva Buddhi only, the Jiveshwara Aikya. And there is no other prayojana for those kind of statements. Therefore, it was established that it's only for Atma Ekatva Buddhi Avataraya Eva. That for that reason only Utpatti Shruti is there. So we completed till there. Now a question is asked. Yadi hi paraha eva atma nitya shuddha buddha mukta swabhavaha ekaha paramartataha sanne ekameva advitiyam ityadi shrutibhyaha asat anyat iti chet kimarta iyam upasana upadishta atma va are drashtravyaha ya atma apahatapapma sakratum kurvita atma ityeva upasita ityadi shrutibhyaha karmani cha agnihotradini. That is a question that needs to be addressed. What is the question? If yadi atma paraha eva, your swarupa is only paratma, it is not a jivatma. If it is true, there is yourself is only the para ishvara, only is yourself. That means what? There is nothing else. And that atma is what? Nitya shuddha buddha mukta swabhavaha. Nitya shuddha. It doesn't have any malinatvam, impurity. What is impurity? All the samsara gunas are impurities. Like raga, dvesha, mada, matsarya, all these things. The entire qualities, avidya, kama, karma, and all the associated happenings, which is called samsara, they are all malinatvam. Nothing is there in Atmastu. So it is Nitya Shuddha. Not only all the malinatvam of Ragadvesha and all are there, but also there is no time in it. There is no space. There are no objects. There is no change. Nothing is there. Therefore, it is Nitya Shuddha. It is untainted because it doesn't have any avayava also. There are no parts. There are no attributes. Attributes themselves are coloring. What is white? What can be a white colored thing can be made into gray or even black by addition of some other color. So once there is some stickiness in it, something can stick. So even though it is pure now, later on it can become malinam. That is not possible in this Atmastu. So it is Nitya Shuddha. It illuminates everything, but itself doesn't have any attribute or even a characteristic. Therefore, it is Nitya Shuddha. It is Asti. Satta only, isness. That's all. Even Chetanatvam, it's only to understand what it is that we use. Because should be a Achetana, then only with reference to it we say it is Chaitanyam. Only to locate what it is, to just show that it is not any Jada Vastu. We have to say it is Jnanam. Even that is not required, because that means it's a qualifying word. It is not a qualifying. That's why we use the term called Lakshanam to point, because it is not recognizable by an attribute. Therefore, it is Lakshyartha only. So, Lakshananena Lakshyam Brahma. Therefore, even all these Jada, Chitta, all these words by themselves are not referring to any quality of Brahman. Because if any quality is there, then Nitya Shuddhatvam is not possible. Then don't ask what is Nitya Shuddhatvam itself not a quality. Again, it is only to show what it is. The word is used. Even Shuddhatvam means there should be an object which is Malinam, and there is a thing which can make it Malinam. Then where is Advayam Brahma? So to show what it is, the word Nitya Shuddha is used. If it alone is there, nothing else is there, and itself doesn't have any attribute, there is no possibility of any Malinatvam in it. That is why we don't use Shuddhatvam as a positive attribute. Instead, the way we are defining Shuddham is there is no Malinatvam. So the negating word only is the intent here. Nitya Shuddha, Nitya Buddha, and there is not a time when it is Jadavastu. It is always Buddha, like a still open eyes, like a statue, Buddhist statue, eyes are open, suppose, like that, all the time looking, because Nitya Buddha, because it is Prajnapti, isness is always there and aware, and it is Nitya Mukta, there is nothing to bind it, it is not limited by time, because time is dependent on it. You cannot, it is not born in time. Atma is not born in time, because when you say in time, time should exist before Atma, but time itself depends on Atma Vastu, because time, without the knower of time, there is no time. Puja Swamiji, in one of his talks, which is there in YouTube, in the early 70s or something, he gives to his students one activity. He says, tonight when you go and before you fall asleep, just do me one thing. Keep a paper and a pen just right next to you. And when you just go to sleep, at that moment, just note down the time and bring back that slip which says, I slept yesterday at 10:12, like that. He gave. Okay. And then he asked, is it possible? It is not possible, because you can't know the time when you go asleep and then note it down. Forget noting it down. You cannot witness going to sleep. At time of going to sleep, what is the time? Because the time for its existence, it needs a jnata. So the time is a very, very relative. When you are watching a cricket match, 3 hours looks like 30 minutes. And when you are sitting in Vedanta class, 30 minutes looks like 3 hours. It all depends. The time. And another example he gives is standing on a hot plate. If you stand on a hot plate, even 2 minutes looks like 20 hours. It doesn't go. Time won't move. It all depends on. And in dream, within few seconds, you dream many days. So time is a very relative concept, and it is dependent entirely on the pramata. So how can Atma be born within time? So Atma is not bound by time. Atma is not bound by space, because space exists in the awareness, and objects themselves also cannot bind Atma, because Atma is not one of the objects in order for it to be limited. So what can create a bounding? What can bind the Atma? It is Nitya Muktaha, and the word Swabhava. By its nature, it is Nitya, Shuddha, Buddha, Mukta. So you can add this Nitya to Shuddha, Buddha, Mukta, and you can also say it is Nityam, Nitya Swabhava also, because it is not within time. That kind of Atma is Ekaha. There is only one, because given the way you just described Nitya Shuddha Buddha Muktatvam, where can there be a second? Because for it there to be a second, it needs to have attribute and limiting factor. When there is nothing limiting it, it is Ekaha. So this Para Atma Ekaha, Paramartataha, in reality, though you are seeing duality, you are listening to some words coming out from somebody, and you are like your ears are grasping it. I mean, yeah, taking it and sending it to your brain, your mind is grasping it. Still, Paramartataha, there is only one. And that is also revealed by the Vakyas Ekameva Advitiyam. We have seen this Ekameva Advitiyam, Sajatiya Vijatiya Swagata Vedarahitatvam is what is the meaning of Ekam Eva Advitiyam. So it is, there is no difference whether within the group or there are no many groups of Atma, nor is Atma with parts. That's what that statement is. Shruti is revealing that if that is the case, if that is what is the true nature of Atma, then asad anyate, everything else is not true. If that is how we have to understand the Shruti as per you, then there are also other Vakyas in Shruti. What are those? Kimartha iyam upasana upadishta. These other Vakyas are upasana Vakyas. Okay. There are upasana Vakyas. The Shruti is not only talking about revealing. Okay, I accept. The Karma Kanda also is talking about Brahman only. Okay, fine. Because you said Odanam Pachati Itivat. But what about all these upasanas? Veda is saying Atma va are drashtravyaha. You have to see this Atma. It has to be seen, drashtavyaha. So there is a tavya pratyaya. It needs to be seen. If everything is one, what is there to see? How can it say Atma va are drashtavyaha? And then nididhyasitavyaha also, mantavyaha also. And then ya atma apahata papma. So here Tikakara says, nididhyasitavyaha iti upasana upadishyate yaha atma ityadau tu saha vijignyasitavyaha iti dhyana vidihi. So in this statement, ya atma apahata papma in Chandogya Upanishad, it concludes with the vidhi saha vijignyasitavyaha, that needs to be known, understood. That is also an upasana. Vijignyasa, jnatumicha. May you cultivate a desire to know and get to know it. Then sakratum kurvita. Okay, here also sakratum kurvita iti atra sashabdena Shamadiman adhikari paramrishyate. This saha, which is spoken about here, okay, that saha, kratum kurvita, that person should seek, okay. Similarly, that saha is spoken as Shamadiman adhikari, Shamadama uparati titiksha. All that Shamadhi Satka Sampattihi. So that paramrishyate, that saha means the adhikari. So that is also an upasana. You have to cultivate. And then atma ityeva upasita. So there also an upasana vidhi is there. Ityadi shrutibhyaha. The Veda is talking about all these upasanas. Karmani cha agnihotradini. There are other karmas which are also given, which is also towards achieving some of these. Not talking about kamya karma. This Agnihotra and all that is talking about nitya karma, like Sandhya Vandana, etc., is also given. That means the Veda is not limiting itself to the vision that you are talking about. So how can we say that this Ekameva Dvitiyam, this only is Brahman? That question comes because you are talking about Veda as a pramana. There are many things in it which is contradicting this Ekameva Dvitiyam thing. That is a question. So to that is this Karika the answer. Shrunu Tatra Karanam. What is the Karanam? Ashramas Trivida Hina Madhyamotkrishtha Drishtayaha Upasana Upadishta Yam Tadartam Anukampaya. Trivida Ashramaha. There are three categories of people. Ashrama is category. Bhashyakara. Ashramaha, Ashraminaha, Adhikritaha. The one who are qualified, who have the Adhikara. Adhikara means what? How decides who has the Adhikara? So he says, Varninascha Margagaha. The people who are in the Marga, Varninaha. the ashrama shabdasya pradarshanartatvat. So the ashrama shabda is used. And we know that varna and ashrama are typically used together. And they are together called as margagaha. That is why there is certain choice in it. Okay, people who have chosen the path of liberation, the pursuit. Therefore, he uses the term margagaha, marge gachanti, margagaminaha. Suppose everybody wants to reach Chennai for the World Cup finals cricket match from Delhi or from all across the country until Delhi. Okay, there is a national highway. So some people have to come from Delhi to Chennai because they are located in Delhi. Some will have to join at say Bhopal or somewhere in Madhya Pradesh. Then there are some people who have to start from Telangana, Hyderabad or somewhere. And then there are some, who are in the outskirts of Chennai. There is a marga, there is a highway. Depending on where they are, someone will take 20 hours to drive, someone will take 15 hours, someone will take 10 hours, 5 hours. That is marga. But everyone is moving towards Chennai. And the whole road is only to reach Chennai. Okay. Or let's say people, all of them are coming from Delhi. Some have already reached Hyderabad. Some are right now in Bhopal. Somebody have reached, say, Vishakhapatnam or somewhere. Now, they all started at the same place. They are all Margagaha. There is no inferiority, superiority, no nothing like that. It is just, you just reach there. You can ask, how do you say who is closer? Okay. It's just the analogy is the marga itself means there is a progression. That's why we have to say somebody is ahead, somebody is behind. Then only there is a marga. But everybody is moving towards the same goal. So long as the person has come and joined the highway, they are on a journey into the right direction. They haven't joined, they are just moving towards Kolkata, then that's a different thing. They are not Margagaha. If there is clarity in what you want to reach. So our entire social structure, cultural framework needs to be looked at through this prism. The reason I'm saying this is because we have so many misunderstandings. Forget Varna, Ashrama and all, even within a house. Suppose my grandmother says, don't touch me until until you have taken bath and shower. And even if you have taken shower, I have my clothes. There is a shaucham, like my muddy we call in Tamil. So the clothes they dry it with, so nobody can touch it. There will be one rod, very far off, like 10 feet high in my village, on which they would have put their dress the previous night, and some people during some occasions, first thing in the morning they'll wash the clothes and dry it there. You can't touch it. After they have taken bath, fully wet, my grandparents will come and take that towel, that dhoti and sari, Once they put it on, you can't touch them. And then food, when somebody eats, you can't see. We can't touch that food. And this person has to eat first. Oh, there are so many customs. Now, you can have an opinion of what is right, what is wrong. In fact, people who are following it, they themselves won't have an opinion. It's not because they want to do it, they don't want to do it, nothing like that. That it is given by Shastra that this is the Shaucham, and they follow, that's all. The purpose is Margagaha. They are in pursuit of moksha. That's all. So, for me to pursue moksha, I am being prescribed to do this by Shastra. Now, why should Shastra tell? So long as the cloth is pure, it comes out of washing machine. How does it really matter whether it hangs in the roof or not? What if somebody touches it if the hands are fully washed? So no dirt will come. So all this logic and all generally don't work. Okay, because we don't even know what is this concept of shaucham, like halal and all that. Now they say, right? Even in Jewish custom they have something like this. No, we can't. Everything you ask question, we don't know. Nobody knows. See, we can give some logical answer, but that is your own logic. Okay. Like Parishechanam, we put water around with some mantra bhuta. You just say, do that, right? That is, and we talk about marjanam, purifying with water, with some mantra, apohishta mayo bhuvaha, something we say. No, don't, people will give some logic. Once you put water, all the ants will not come. That's why. So some logic they give. Now, what is the guarantee that that is the reasoning for which all these were done? And you have to sit on kushagra mat made of darba grass. Now, some people will give logic. It is insulation effect. So the spiritual power you don't want it to get transmitted to the earth. So all kinds of logic. Just to justify, you are giving some augmenting logic so that you know you can justify why you are doing it. Why do you have to justify? The only justification is Shastra has given it and you are a margagaha. So long as you don't have hatred or ill will or anything associated, if you are just following something for your own benefit and for what Shastra is saying, just do it. That is margagaha. Okay, because to corrupt all these, you know, things, people will come and always, disrupt it. It helps neither of us. The one who is disrupting also, it doesn't help. Because as such, when somebody is doing, an anushtana or following some shaucham, how does it help? How does it hurt others? It is their own. They want to keep aloof and do some practices because they want to follow it. It is up to them, right? That is margagaha. People choose once if you want. That's why I feel it is voluntary because margagaha, it is said, varninascha ashramina, and Bhashyakara doesn't even talk about caste and all here. In fact, he says trividaha ashramaha hina madhyama utkrishta drishtaya. It is only adhikaritva veda he talks about. But Tikakara talks a little bit about this varna being the margagahas, people who are following the varna are margagahas, who want to reach moksha. So they have classified, they agreed to classify themselves into some varna and are doing some activities. But the import here is that this whole classification is only for gaining moksha. The classification, whether it is Varna classification, Ashrama classification, even within same ashrama activities. That's why I spoke about Shaucham and all that. Suppose you are in a Grihastha ashrama, and in Grihastha ashrama there are many people. There are grandparents are there, your parents are there, then you are also married. In those days, 3-4 generations will all be having family life in the same house. At whatever level you are, depending on where you are doing certain different activities. Somebody is following Shaucham, somebody is doing, Vajapaya, the Yajna, someone is doing something else. But all are moving towards what? Same moksha. The whole life is for moksha only. Every jiva is born for the sake of liberation. That was the vision. Our social vision was that every jiva, not only human, eventually other jivatmas also are moving towards moksha. And humans are right now in a birth where they can gain moksha, irrespective of whether which category you are born into. Moksha, every human thinking intellect can have moksha. There is no limitation. Striyo Vaishyas Tata Shudraha Tepi Yanti Parangatim, Bhagavan says. Generally, people say this people will not gain, that people will not gain. So, to negate it, he uses Apishabda there, saying, oh, whoever you are saying, will they gain? You are asking, even they will gain. So, the moksha, there is no limitation so long as internally you are qualified. If you are sadhana chatushtaya sampannaha, you are qualified for moksha. That's all. Atato Brahma Jignasa Bhashyakara says that. So only this is the qualification. You don't need to know Veda, you don't need to know anything. If you are sadhana chatushtaya sampannaha, you are qualified for moksha. Now the question, then everyone will ask, oh, if that is the case, then why all this Varna Dharma, Ashrama Dharma, all this, so much of rituals? Because the sadhana chatushtaya sampat, we don't know what is inhibiting it. Why is someone not having that, someone not having it? And it doesn't seem to be purely your mental effort. There are so many things which seem to go with it. The adhikaritva, suppose you come and ask, any guru you go and ask, Swamiji, can you tell me if I have all the qualities needed for jnanam, moksha? Will I gain moksha in the next 6 months? Or will I gain moksha in the next 2 years? Or will I gain moksha in the next 10 years? You go and ask anybody. No one can tell you. They will say, keep trying. There should be no reason why you won't gain moksha. Make your effort. That's all they can say. And no guru, to be very honest, though they say Hasta Diksha, this, that, all that, no guru can say, okay, tomorrow you will gain jnanam. I will give you. It's not possible. Because the adhikaritvam is not within anybody's control. It's only Ishwar Anugraha only. So what is the way for me to ensure? What is the pramana? On what basis do I decide what to do in order to qualify myself? What is the pramana? Only the book the pramana which gave you what is Brahman, what is moksha, that alone is the pramana to tell how do you gain it also, isn't it? Now you cannot say I will only accept Upanishad, I won't accept the sadhanas spoken of by Shruti. Of course, see, other than what Shruti has spoken, you can add a few things. Okay. That Shankara himself accepts. Like, let's say, modern psychology helps you in adhikaritvam. That is fine, add to it. There is no problem. But certain people say, okay, Shastra has given me this. I think I will follow this and I will gain this moksha because it's the Shruti which has given me this moksha as a goal. Now the marga also I am taking what is Shruti giving. Now you can also ask, has there not been other margas even in those days? Of course, there has been Tantra, for example, right? The Tantrika, though it brings in a lot of Vedic elements into it, but it has been developed, independently, isn't it? So, like that, there can be many things which are added. But this marga, Shruti also proposes a marga, but the lakshya for all of them is only moksha. So, there is no discrimination, or it is not even meant for just worldly affairs. So what the structure of it was worldly affairs. How can it be done without compromising on the goal of moksha for every jiva which is there? And like I told in the previous session, everyone goes through this journey. Okay, somebody who is in this birth a human being was probably a cow in the previous birth, or a pig in the birth before that, or an ant. And even Devata, you can become a Devata, even Indra, and then come back as a Manushya. Anything is possible. So this particular birth is only temporary. So this Utkrishtatvam, all this, why is it said? Because you are closer. See, why do we then have to say this birth is little better than that birth? Because you have to tell them that, hey, pursue little more, you will gain moksha. You are pretty close. After having taken so many births, you have become a human being. And after making so many human births, you have taken a birth where you can listen to Shastra. Now you are in a situation where you are sitting and listening to Shastra. You have got yourself exposed to Shastra. So pursue this so that you can gain this moksha. So to motivate, you have to tell people that, hey, you are closer. It is not a discriminatory thing. It is only just prerana. No, after that also a person may not gain, may waste. Mahati vinashtihi. That is all possible. Therefore, this margagaha, that's why I have to, because there is context, I am talking about it. Marga, there is a path. And even though people are in the path, there are different levels they are in. That is why Hina Madhyama Utkrishta Drishtayaha. Hina Nikrishtaha Madhyama Utkrishta cha Drishtihi. Darshana Samarthyam Yeshamte. So the ability, Samarthyam means ability. Darshana Samarthyam, ability to see the truth. The ability is hindered for somebody in a big way. That is Hina Drishtaya. The ability is moderately disturbed, Madhyama, and then not lot hindered, but they have very good drishti, Utkrishta Drishtihi, Samarthyam. Yesham te manda madhyamottama buddhi samarthyopetaha. That is there in any asrama, any varna, any category, the person can have a hina, madhyama, utkrishta drishti. Depends on how they have led their life, how they have looked at things, not based on what they have done. Someone would have done yajna for 30 years, but fully with kamya buddhi, with raga dvesha. That person will have a hina drishti. Someone would have been a laborer, but with a karma yoga buddhi, that person may be a Utkrishta drishtihi. It all depends. Okay. But a certain lifestyle, a certain things will augment, will aid you if you have a lifestyle where you are, let's say, socially you are needing to do service in the temple. Let's say you are employed as a sweeper in a temple. Let's just say you have an advantage, correct? No, because everybody around you will be just coming to temple praying whatever, so you have an environment where you can focus more on Bhagavan. So there are certain advantages. Someone has been taught, you are born in a family where you are taught all shlokas and all that. Of course, there is an advantage for those people, no doubt. Okay. That is because some prarabdha karma, this person is born in that family or has got a job in the temple as sweeper, whatever. That and all we can't explain why that is. We have to only say karma. Now, so just get into the marga, that's all. So we should not be arguing, oh, I didn't get this birth, that birth. I have been sent to, foreign country. I should have been in a position in my own country near some temple. You can keep cribbing. There is no benefit of all that. Just come to the marga. Just to focus on mokshas. If that lakshya is there, then automatically things will fall in place. No, we can't also go and keep arguing with people who says this religion, this, that, all that. It's not about religion. That's why margagaha. If you see in our shastra, there is no dharma, religion. Dharma is in a different context only it is used. In fact, how much we are talking about a god and all that here. See, no. The whole thing is only about moksha. It's about you. That's it. Because I am bothered about only me, right? If the God is of some help to me, I will go to God. Atmanastu kamaya sarvam priyam bhavati. Even Bhagavan is like that only. Okay. So the whole pursuit is always about how can I be free, happy. And that is the pursuit. And that pursuit is the moksha pursuit. And how I reach there is the marga. And that marga means you are in different stages, roughly 3 stages, that's all. So don't ask, these are only 3 stages. There can be 5 stages, 7 stages, 15 stages, it doesn't matter. Like it depends on how you classify. Generally, 3 stages is a good way to classify. So here, because there are these different stages of people, different upasanas are needed because you don't know what is inhibiting you. Guruji, I have been listening to this Vedanta for the last 8 years. I have completed Kathopanishad, Kenopanishad, Mandukya Upanishad, Taittiriya Upanishad, Bhagavad Gita also. But this vision, jnanam, I am not getting, no. Why, Swamiji? Why, Guruji? Somebody will ask. Now, what can Guruji tell also, no? So, some extent they can say, okay, if they know the Shishya very well, if they know the Shishya has a problem of, hyperactivity, or if the Shishya is thinking a lot about many things, just getting lost out, then he can give some upasana. Okay, why don't you focus on this Ahangraha upasana? Or somebody is always eating, okay, then you do this kind of a Chandrayana, whatever, isn't it? Or if the person is lacking in relating to Ishvara, and then the person has some psychological issues, then the Guru can say, okay, why don't you do some bhajan, bhakti, listen to some, Mahabharata, something you can help depending the Guru being in a position to observe the Shishya. That's why this Antevasi All that is very important. The Guru, this online Vedanta, this is the problem. You can listen to Brahman all the time, but it is not clicking, no? If it is not clicking, then that means there is some pratibandha. If there is pratibandha, the pratibandha is very individual. We cannot give same medicine to everyone. Like in Ayurveda, no? You have to look at the nadi, pulse, and then not pulse, whatever nadi is probably more than pulse. So they look at many different things and individually give a medicine. They'll make for this person this medicine. You come after 3 days. I'll have to go and bring some, these herbs from the forest, and I will make it for you. They used to say. So the specialist Ayurvedic doctors I've seen in Kerala and all, they will make it for you. Each individual needs a different medicine. It is not like old Ren, like that you can't write it. That's why in allopathy sometimes it doesn't work because most of them are standardized. Of course, if it is cold, you give cold. That's fine. But there are certain problems where you have to go for very specific medication. Anyway, so now the Shishya, that's why the online thing doesn't work always, because for Vedanta, you need certain advice. That's why this Antevasi, Ashrama, all that becomes very important. The Adhikaritva Veda is the problem. Vedanta teaching is easy. What are we saying? Brahman, Brahman, Brahman. Correct. We try to show it. We means what? The Sampradaya, the Shastra tries to show you some ways of looking. So Swamiji used to say, take the person to a point from which he or she cannot but see. Cannot but see. Okay. So take the person, climb the mountain, take to a particular spot from which you can open your eyes and see, oh wow, now I can see the valley. So how well you can take that person to the right spot and show, that is what Vedanta session can do. Now the person's eyes themselves have cataract. Then what will this guy do? You need a doctor. That doctor is Ishvara here. But what upasana I have to do, I don't know. So Shastra gives upasana. And there are many upasanas. Upasana upadishta iyam tadartam mandamadhyama drishti ashramadi artham karmani ja nacha atma eka eva advitiyaha iti nischita uttama drishti artham. So the uttama drishti people don't need this upasana because they are already qualified. They are already seeing very clearly. You just need them to be taken to that spot. The other two means what? All the others. Because we are saying three, so we are saying other two. Everybody else who don't have uttama drishti, which is where most of us will fall, they need upasana. Which upasana will work for me? This is the question. That is why, like I said, that is why the guru becomes very important, because we are not, see, a patient is never a good judge of his or her own medicine. Only a doctor who knows the field of medicine can prescribe the right medicine to you. So only a jnani, a guru who has seen this many students and the pratibandha, and who himself or herself have gained this jnanam, knows what could be the pratibandha, and accordingly prescribe what the Shishya should do. And that can be anything. Can be Nadopasana, can be Shri Vidya Upasana, or Mantropadesha, or someone can be given, why don't you take this Vigraha and do some puja for it, or write Ramanama 1,000 times a day. Something you can say, depends on. See, the Guru will not tell you why he or she is asking you to write Ramanama 1,000 times. That Guru only will know, because He has observed certain. Suppose he or she tells you, "This is why I am asking you," then your mind will object. Oh, no, 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 Guru has not clearly understood me. Because you have your own conclusion, right? This is like someone ask your spouse or somebody that, "Why don't you come? I want to take you to a psychiatrist." Suppose you say, "I'm not asking you to tell," but suppose you tell, then what will they say? "Why should I come? You go to a psychiatrist," right? Because there is always a dismissiveness. I'm not saying anybody has to go. I'm just giving an example. So the mind always protests. So Guru need not tell you. Just that is why this whole Sharanagati is very important. This Guru Shishya relationship is very noble one because the commitment is moksha. See, that is what is very important, right? See, that's why people don't understand why he surrendered to Guru. Otherwise, how will it work? You think about it, right? This kind of a situation, if Guru prescribes you something, unless you have an absolute surrender, you won't do it. And even when something is taught, suppose I am telling you all this, suppose you have your own, let's say I was talking a little bit on the ashrama dharma and all that. Suppose you are having your own, everybody has a point of view, isn't it? Now, when will you be open? When you have Shraddha and Shastra and the person who is talking that, right? Otherwise, you will say, okay, Shastra may be telling correctly only, but this guy is not interpreting it correctly. You will have all those thoughts. So it won't work. That's why if you don't have Shraddha, then you shouldn't sit in a class, technically, isn't it? Otherwise, it's only going to, create problems for your own self. So Shraddha is important. The Guru and Shastra Vakyeshu, you need to have full commitment. So long as the person is not having any personal motive, the one who is prescribing, he doesn't, if you see, that is another thing, no? That is one of the reasons why people are also concerned because they don't want to lend themselves towards manipulation and all that. So you have to be cautious before you may take a plunge. Okay. But once you are committed to a thing that, okay, this is Shastra and this is how I want to pursue this jnanam. From that point, then you should be fully committed, then only it will work. That is why this whole Guru Shishya thing is emphasized. Otherwise, that won't work. It's not like any mathematics studies, okay, where you can just go, whether there is no psychological, emotional element in mathematics, right? Whereas in moksha, the adhikaritvam is an emotional growth. So because it is emotional, there is a upasana, all these things become very important. So you need a right guru and you need right attitude and you need a commitment. Then only this moksham will be gained. And dayaluna devena anukampaya sanmargagaha santaha katam imam uttamam ekatva prapnuyuhu iti यन्मनसा न मनुते येनाहुर्मनोमतं तदेव ब्रह्म त्वं विद्धि नेदं यदिदम् उपासते तत्त्वमसि आत्मेयमिदं सर्वम् इत्यादि श्रुतिभ्यः. So he quotes for the Uttama Drishti. The Uttama Drishti, it is very clear. You don't have to do any upasana. The one the one whose self, which is through which you are doing the upasana, that alone is the truth. Yan manasana manute. What your mind is doing upasana of is not Brahman. Yena ahu manomatam tadeva brahmatam vidhi na idam yad idam upasate. Whatever you are doing upasana of, that is not Brahman. But because of which you are able to do upasana, your Swarupa, that is Brahman. Tattvamasi, that you are Atmaya Vedam Sarvam. This is all for Uttama Drishti. But the non-Uttama Drishti people, for them, Dayaluna Devena Anukampaya Sanmargaha Santaha Katam Imam Uttamam ekatva drishtim prapnuyuhu. How will these people also gain? Uttama drishti will easily gain because they are ready. For the others to gain, I need to give them some means. Therefore, the Shruti, Devena, he says, the Ishvara has through Shruti given all these upasanas so that everyone can qualify and gain moksha. So the whole framework, the social framework, cultural framework is being built in a way that everyone can gain. That is the lakshya. It's not for somebody to gain. So if you are in this level, for you to gain, this is what you should do. If you are at this level, for you to gain moksha in this birth, this is what you need to do. It's so simple. Your body is made up of certain things. Your mind is made up of certain qualities. So at this time, you do this so that you can gain moksha. That is how the whole prescription is, and it is very individualistic. So ashramas trivida hina madhyamotkrishta drishtaya upasanopadishteyam tadartham anukampaya. That is the total vision. That is the Vedic vision. That is our society. Okay, so we should understand it in proper perspective. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om.
ಧನ್ಯವಾದ.
ಧನ್ಯವಾದ ಗುರುಜಿ.
Yeah.